Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, O.G.Starwars. Today we are going to compare and contrast the original Thrawn versus Disney Lucasfilm's version of Thrawn. In this film you will find we are going to compare and contrast between the novels Thrawn trilogy as well as the novels that are created in the New Lore and Rebels. So stay tuned as we get in further depth of Thrawn and why both characters from both sides of the lore does not fit together. Originally known as Mitth'raw'nuruodo, core name Thrawn, he comes from the planet Chisella within the Chiss Ascendancy in the Unknown Regions. He served for the Chiss Expansionary in its defense forces. In 27 BBY, Thrawn encountered Darth Sidious after destroying his private task force, both agreeing the larger threat is the Far Outsiders. Thrawn agreed to help destroy the Jedi and outbound flight during that time. In 19 BBY, Thrawn purposely caused his exile so he could join the Emperor without alienating his people. Vos Parak encounters Thrawn and takes him to the Emperor. Aware of Thrawn's command skills, he is approved to join the Imperial Navy. By 2 ABY, Thrawn becomes the 13th Grand Admiral. A stage insubordination was created to strategically send Thrawn into the Unknown Regions. Many thought he was exiled. Thrawn created his secret empire of his own, called the Hand of Thrawn. By 8 ABY, Thrawn returned to take control of the remaining Imperial forces. And in 9 ABY, Thrawn perished during the Battle of Bilbringi by the hand of his Noghri bodyguard, Rook.
Thrawn was sitting upright in his chair, his face strangely calm. In the middle of his chest, a dark red stain was spreading across the spotless white of his Grand Admiral's uniform. Glittering in the center of the stain was the tip of Rook's assassin's knife. Thrawn caught his eye, and to Pelian's astonishment, the Grand Admiral smiled.
"But," he whispered, "it was so artistically done."
The smile faded. The glow in his eyes did likewise, and Thrawn, the last Grand Admiral, was gone.
Originally known as Kivu'raw'nuruodo, core name being Varan. He came from the planet in the Chiss Ascendancy called Rentor. Varan was adopted into the Myth ruling family, given the name Mitth'raw'nuruodo, or core name Thrawn. He served in the Chiss Ascendancy's defense fleet and encountered Anakin Skywalker, later he knew as Vader, during the Clone Wars. Faking his exile from the Chiss Ascendancy, he offered his allegiance to the Empire. The plan was to create an ally or weaken them as easy targets to the threat of the Unknown Regions. Thrawn was granted the title of Grand Admiral during the Rebellion era. Thrawn's ship, the Chimera, vanished during the Battle of Autolon. The Purrgil punctured the bridge and took the Chimera along with Thrawn into hyperspace, disappearing. Now let's compare and contrast both Thrawns. Original lore, Thrawn's name stays the same. Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn's original name is Kivu'raw'nuru. Original lore, Thrawn comes from Chisella. In Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn comes from Rentor. Original lore, Thrawn encounters the Emperor in 27 BBY, whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn encounters Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars. Original lore, Thrawn purposely caused his exile. He couldn't turn his back on his people to join the Empire. Whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn, with Chiss support, faked his exile to join the Empire, to either create an ally to the Chiss or weaken them to the outside threats. Original lore, Thrawn was promoted to Grand Admiral in 2 ABY. Whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn was promoted to Grand Admiral during the Rebellion era, before the Battle of Yavin. Original lore, Thrawn was exiled into the unknown regions, returning in 8 ABY to take command of the remaining Imperial forces, whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn was never exiled. Original lore, Thrawn perished 9 ABY, killed by his Nogri bodyguard, Rook, at the Battle of Bilbringi. Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn's ship Chimera was attacked by Purrgil, taking them into hyperspace, disappearing. Here are some notable points not mentioned that isn't directly related to Thrawn, but the overall story between both lores. The original lore, the Nogri have a debt to the Empire, thus giving their sons to be assassins. Whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, Nogri have no debt to the Empire. Rook is hired by Thrawn as a bodyguard. Original lore, Sidious joins with Thrawn because of the threat of the Far Outsiders, whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, Thrawn only considers the Empire as a pawn, either ally or set them up for the unknown threat to attack. Original lore, Thrawn is a strategic genius, more of a tactically skilled individual that has advanced him quickly to the rank of Grand Admiral. Whereas Disney Lucasfilm lore, though Thrawn has near the same mental traits, he was also trained as a fighter. As you can see, there is a big difference between Thrawn of the original lore versus the new lore. One can't fit them together. They are completely different. The rumored coming show, Heir to the Empire, won't fit if only for this reason. Please check out Open Airlock's video on that very subject. It is a wonderful breakdown, and I recommend you go watch it after you complete this video. Link is above. No matter if you like the new lore or not, I believe Zahn took this chance to make a creative changes, which he has every right to do, just like George Lucas had every right to do, to not only fit the new lore, but what he thought would expand more on Thrawn's character arc. Would we have got or seen more explanation of Thrawn in the original lore if there was no buyout? We may never know. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share this video. I do have a membership, so please check it out. And thank you again for your continued support. May the Force be with you.